Welcome back to the B&B Spoilers channel, where we delve into the latest and most riveting developments unfolding at Forrester Creations. Today's focus revolves around a stunning discovery made by Hope, who has found herself increasingly suspicious of Steffi, Zend, and a new employee named Daphne. From the moment Daphne arrived at the company, Hope noticed odd discrepancies in the way she joined the team and, more disturbingly, in the way she interacted with Steffi and Zend. What began as a small doubt soon ballooned into a full-scale investigation, and the truth that ultimately came to light rocked Hope's world and threatened to upend the very foundations of trust at Forrester Creations. The chain of events began when Hope realized that Steffi, Zend, and Daphne were often whispering among themselves, holding private discussions in tucked-away corners of the building and behind closed doors. Normally, Hope wouldn't be too alarmed about coworkers chatting, but the hushed tones and quick glances made it feel like there was an ongoing secret that was deliberately being kept from her. Adding to the mystery was Daphne's background, or the apparent lack of any red flags in her background. Every time Hope tried to dig deeper into who Daphne was and how she had come to Forrester Creations, all information suggested that Daphne was a legitimate, fully qualified talent in the fragrance field. But the bigger question was how she had shown up at exactly the right moment, precisely when Hope and Carter were hunting for someone with an uncommonly skilled nose to create a line of special, one-of-a-kind perfumes. While coincidences do happen, this was a little too perfect, especially from Hope's perspective. She simply could not dismiss the gnawing feeling that there was more to Daphne's sudden appearance than met the eye. As the days passed, Hope became even more vigilant. She started noticing the oddly close bond between Daphne and Steffi. Two women who, under ordinary circumstances, would not have had many overlapping responsibilities. Furthermore, Zend, typically preoccupied with design work, was also drawn into this secret circle. Hope's unease intensified whenever she caught glimpses of the three of them in huddled conversation. Often, if they realized Hope was nearby, they would abruptly cut the conversation short or change the subject. It was enough to make anyone wonder what on earth they were talking about that required such secrecy. In her desperation to get to the bottom of things, Hope made a decision that she never thought she would make. She planted a listening device in Daphne's office. The move was not taken lightly, for Hope to resort to such an extreme measure underscored just how deeply this mystery had disturbed her. She needed proof, one way or another, to confirm or quell her suspicions. If Daphne were simply an excellent new hire with a friendly disposition, then nothing damaging would come to light. If, however, something sinister was happening behind the scenes, Hope would finally get the evidence she needed to take action. For some time, the bug failed to produce anything of note. Hope listened in on standard work-related conversations, idle chatter, and even the occasional personal phone call that revealed nothing more than trivial gossip. It began to feel like maybe she was wrong, that maybe she had misread the situation entirely. But Hope's vigilance paid off one evening when Daphne, apparently thinking no one was around to overhear, made a phone call that revealed her true purpose at Forrester Creations. Daphne, speaking in hushed but urgent tones, confirmed that Steffi had placed her there to entice and ultimately seduce Carter. The entire ruse was carefully engineered to create a rift between Hope and Carter, a rift that Steffi hoped would end in their separation, both personally and professionally. The sheer betrayal in that revelation was almost too much for Hope to handle. She had known that her relationship with Steffi was fraught with competitiveness and disagreements over company direction in the past, but never had she imagined that Steffi would orchestrate such a personal scheme to sabotage her connection with Carter. The fact that Zend also seemed to be aware of the plan, and had chosen to keep quiet, stung as well. Zend, after all, was someone Hope had often relied on for design collaborations, creative input, and general friendship. Knowing he had willingly gone along with this deceit broke what trust she still had in him. Faced with the damning evidence, Hope confronted Carter immediately. She played him the recording and explained how she had come to discover Daphne's real purpose. Carter was floored. To learn that a woman he had started developing genuine feelings for, someone whose talent and charm had captured his attention, was, in reality, just a pawn used by Steffi was shattering. Carter's shock quickly gave way to anger. He recognized how close he had come to falling into a trap that would not only compromise his relationship with Hope, but also could have led him to make serious personal and professional missteps. Carter, who prided himself on having integrity and good judgment, felt the bitter sting of having been manipulated by people he once considered colleagues and friends. In his fury and hurt, he resolved to act decisively. From his perspective, neither Steffi nor Daphne could remain at Forrester Creations after committing such a betrayal. No matter how integral they had been to various projects or how long their history with the company might be, the violation of trust was too severe to overlook. Carter made the decision to fire Daphne immediately, and he also vowed that Steffi would face dire consequences. The notion of firing Steffi, a prominent figure at Forrester Creations, was almost unthinkable under normal circumstances, but Carter's stance was unwavering. For him, the line had been crossed in a way that could not be undone by apologies or rationalizations. Meanwhile, Hope grappled with a whirl of emotions: shock, anger, sadness, and a lingering sense of disbelief. Though she had prepared herself for some sort of confirmation of her suspicions, the reality of the situation was even more hurtful than she had imagined. She felt betrayed by Steffi's cunning plan and by Zen's complicity. She felt distressed that Daphne was so willing to help sabotage a relationship just to carve out a place at Forrester Creations. Above all, she felt deeply unsettled, understanding that Steffi's subterfuge had not only aimed to undermine Hope's bond with Carter, but also to derail all the work they had poured into the new fragrances. Any illusions Hope had left about maintaining a civil relationship with Steffi collapsed in the face of this fresh betrayal. Now, the entire company faces a tumultuous aftermath. Steffi's involvement in the scheme calls her future at Forrester Creations into question, which could lead to dramatic shifts in the hierarchy of the organization. Zen's role in keeping silent also casts a shadow over his position and might damage his reputation as one of Forrester's creative visionaries. Daphne, having proven herself to be an agent of sabotage, will likely have little chance to remain employed. The looming question is whether the damage is reversible or if the ramifications will permanently fracture the Forrester family and their trusted circle of designers and executives. There is no doubt that Hope's determination to learn the truth has exposed not just a hidden plot but also the deep fault lines in relationships that once seemed stable. Carter's decision to stand firmly by Hope and retaliate against the perpetrators speaks volumes about his priorities. He is making it clear that, for him, integrity and loyalty outweigh any personal connections he might have formed, no matter how powerful or long-standing. Hope's relief in having her suspicions validated is mingled with heartbreak over the extent of Steffi's duplicity. Moving forward, both Hope and Carter will have to navigate a landscape of shattered trust and hidden resentments, all while striving to protect Forrester Creations from further manipulation and deceit. As viewers, we are left wondering if Steffi will try to defend herself and claim extenuating circumstances for her plot. Will she place the blame on unresolved rivalries, or will she point fingers at Daphne for pushing the plan too far? Will Zen come forward to explain himself and attempt to make amends for his role? Could Daphne reveal deeper secrets that might implicate others? The entire ordeal could escalate even further, as secrets in the fashion world rarely stay contained for long. No matter how it unfolds, the impact of this deception will surely reverberate across every level of Forrester Creations, forcing each character to pick a side, re-evaluate old bonds, and possibly forge new alliances. In the wake of this startling revelation, Tensions are at an all-time high, and no one is quite sure what the next step will be or how these relationships might be repaired, if they can be repaired at all. For now, all we can say with certainty is that Hope's actions in bugging Daphne's office have upended the status quo, leaving Steffi, Daphne, and Zend in the hot seat and Carter reeling from the near miss that could have derailed his life and career. This storyline is poised to ignite even more dramatic confrontations and unexpected twists as everyone scrambles to react. Stay tuned for more updates on the bold and the beautiful as we track every development in this explosive saga. Thank you for joining the B&B Spoilers channel, and be sure to keep watching as we follow the fallout from one of the most audacious deceptions in recent Forrester Creations history. Next, we explore one of the most shocking and controversial storylines to hit the bold and the beautiful, Poppy Nozawa's tangled web of deception, forbidden love, and devastating consequences. With new revelations shaking up the Forrester and Spencer families, can Poppy ever redeem herself, or has she gone too far? Let's break it all down. Can Poppy Nozawa ever redeem herself? Poppy Nozawa has always lived life on her own terms, following the winds of freedom wherever they took her. She was never one for traditional rules, social constraints, or carefully thought-out plans. But now, as the truth about her past unravels, she may have finally reached the point of no return. Her choices have led to irreparable damage, not only to her own life, but to those around her. The revelation of Luna's true paternity has sent shockwaves through her family, making people question everything they thought they knew about Poppy. Can she ever come back from this? Is there any chance at redemption, or is she destined to be shunned by those she once held dear? The scandal that could ruin Poppy forever. When the truth about Poppy's past relationship with Finn Finnegan came to light, it was met with horror, disbelief, and outrage. Poppy always spoke of that time in her life as one filled with uncertainty, a period where she felt lost and vulnerable. She describes herself as a woman searching for meaning, drifting between fleeting connections, and trying to find solace in the love of those around her. But that reasoning doesn't justify what happened. She spent a great deal of time with Finn, who was raised as her nephew, living under the same roof, sharing personal moments, and growing close in ways that should have had clear boundaries. Finn was adopted, which legally separated them from being blood relatives, but that does little to lessen the uncomfortable reality of the situation. Poppy ignored the ethical lines that should never have been crossed. And the result of that night, whether she wanted to admit it or not, was Luna. Finn's devastating realization, a life built on lies. For Finn, the revelation that he is Luna's biological father changes everything. Up until now, he has been living a structured, respectable life, a brilliant doctor, a devoted husband, a man who worked tirelessly to build a family with Steffi Forrester. Now, that carefully constructed world is crumbling before his eyes. When Poppy finally admitted the truth, she presented it as if she had done him a favor, concealing the reality so that he could go on and have the life he deserved. She painted herself as a woman who made the ultimate sacrifice, raising their daughter alone so that Finn wouldn't be burdened by the consequences of their past. But Finn isn't buying it. What Poppy sees as an act of love, he sees as deception. She robbed him of the opportunity to know his own child, to be there for Luna in ways that mattered. And now, with Luna's life spiraling out of control, Finn is forced to question everything, his morals, his choices, and even his ability to trust the people closest to him. What happened between them wasn't a romantic fairy tale. It wasn't a tragic love story. It was wrong, and Finn now realizes that he has been living in ignorance while Poppy rewrote their past to make herself feel better. The explosive fallout. How will the family react? If Poppy thought she could get away with this revelation quietly, she was sorely mistaken. The moment this truth spreads, it will send shockwaves through the Forrester, Spencer, and Nozawa families. Steffi will undoubtedly be the first to react, and it won't be pretty. She has been fiercely protective of her marriage, and this revelation threatens to shatter the foundation of trust she has with Finn. How can she look at him the same way again, knowing that his past holds something so deeply unsettling? Then, there's Lee Nozawa, Finn's adoptive mother. If anyone is going to explode over this, it's Lee. She already despised Poppy for her free-spirited, reckless lifestyle, and now she has undeniable proof that Poppy's lack of judgment has caused irreversible harm. Lee has always viewed herself as the true maternal figure in Finn's life, the one who shaped him into the man he is today. And now, she must come to terms with the fact that the very woman she wanted out of their lives forever has, in a sense, been there all along. Poppy's actions may not have resulted in the same level of destruction as Luna's crimes, but she is about to be just as ostracized. Society might be able to understand making one bad choice, but choosing to keep the truth hidden for decades? That's a whole different level of betrayal. Luna Nozawa, the apple doesn't fall far from the tree. For months, Poppy tried to maintain the illusion that she had raised a remarkable young woman. She spoke highly of Luna, painting her as a dreamer, a bright light, a loving daughter who deserved the world. And for a while, the audience bought into it. Then, the real Luna emerged. Luna's downward spiral was nothing short of jaw-dropping. In her desperate attempt to secure a permanent place in Bill Spencer's world, she took extreme measures, killing 2 men and kidnapping Steffi Forrester to protect her cushy lifestyle. This revelation forced everyone to question Luna's true nature. Was she always capable of this darkness, or did Poppy's decisions shape her into the person she became? And now, knowing that Finn is her biological father, another question lingers. Does Luna's violent, reckless nature come from Poppy alone, or is there something buried deep in Finn's DNA that played a role in the person she became? Poppy's legacy, a life of destruction. Looking back, Poppy Nozawa's entrance into the bold and the beautiful was misleading. She arrived in Los Angeles with a smile, a carefree attitude, and an air of mystery that made her intriguing. But beneath the surface, she was carrying secrets that would ultimately destroy lives. Her story began as one of reinvention, of a woman trying to start fresh with her daughter by her side. But as the layers peeled back, we learned that Poppy's past wasn't just complicated, it was riddled with choices that hurt the people closest to her. And now, as she stands before the wreckage of everything she has built, one question remains: how on earth does Poppy come back from this? Can she repair the damage she has caused? Will Finn ever be able to forgive her? Will Luna find a way to carve out a new future, or is she doomed to repeat the mistakes of her mother? One thing is for sure, redemption won't come easy, and in a world where secrets always have consequences, Poppy may have just sealed her fate forever. What's next? More twists await. With the bold and the beautiful continuing to push boundaries, this storyline is far from over. We have yet to see how Steffi, Lee, and the rest of the family will react to the full scope of this scandal. The fallout is only beginning, and the consequences will be earth-shattering. Stay tuned, B&B fans, the storm is far from over.